Welcome back. Today we are going to still be in Ghana, which is where we were last lesson as well. And if you remember, that's a country in Africa. Today we are going to be making our own Kente cloths. Kente cloths were made by the Asante people, typically for kings and queens, but they're still made today more commonly and sold in different markets around Ghana. We're not going to make ours out of cloth today, but what you will need is some construction paper, one preferably dark colored, one with some more colors to it. You can actually have several colors too. We'll talk more about that later. But if you don't have any construction paper, you don't have any colored paper, that's fine. You can use normal paper too, and it'll still be the same project. You will also need some scissors for this and some glue. Let me get my glue out here. There we go. And some glue. First, what you want to do is if you do have colored paper, you want to start with your darker color. So I have a black piece of paper here, and I am going to fold it short way. I used to call this hamburger style. So you're going to fold it this way, where your paper is nice and long. You fold it in half that way. Hamburger style, because Ms. Ziegler loves hamburgers. I'm folding mine in half right now, and yours should look like mine. Mine opens up at the top here, so I'm going to cut on the side that I cannot open up. So again, mine opens up here, so I am going to cut down here. You're going to be cutting different strips. So they shouldn't be too big, they shouldn't be too small. Just kind of medium like that. Notice how my strip, I stopped cutting right there. I didn't go all the way to the top. That's really important. Make sure you don't go all the way to the top, because otherwise it's just going to fall off. You're going to continue doing that for the rest of the paper. Just making these little strips, making sure you're not cutting all the way through the top here. Always starting at the bottom on the folded edge. So when you're all done, it should look something like this. You got some fringe going on here. Right? When you have all your cuts made, you're going to open it up. So you should be able to stick your fingers through each of the slots, but the whole page should still be together because you didn't cut all the way through in the top or the bottom here. After you make this, you're going to put it to the side, and if you have different colored paper, you're going to start making strips from your colored paper. Now the length on these does not matter at all. It can be short, it can be long, it doesn't matter. But you are going to make your strips. This is my paper long ways. You're going to make your strips right there. If you make them here, they might be a little bit too long for the page that we just made. So you want to cut long ways. So I'm going to start making my strips. And these, you cut all the way through. You want them to come off like that. So I'm not really worrying about size. Just cutting a few of these. And like I said at the beginning, you can actually have different colored paper if you want, and you can make a bunch of different colored strips for yours. What we're going to end up doing is weaving them through that black piece of paper that we just cut up. So if you have a bunch of different colors, that could look kind of cool, and you could also use your color wheel to decide what kind of colors you want to put together. So I have my strips. I chose to just do all pink, and that's fine too. I have my black base here with the little fringe cutouts. And this is the part that gets a little tricky. So, you're going to take your black page here, and you're going to take one strip and you're going to weave it through the fringe that you made here. So I am going to go over the first black strip here. Then I'm going to put my strip underneath the next black strip. Then I'm going to put it over the next black strip and under the next one. So you're creating a pattern. You're going over, then under, then over, then under. And you can see that where it's over, you can see the pink. Where it's under, you can see the black. So you're going to keep going throughout till you get to the very end. Once you get to the end here, that's where your glue comes in handy. And you're going to glue it into place. So I'm going to put just a little dot underneath the pink strip here. And hold it onto the black here so that stays in place. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm putting a little dot of glue on my pink strip. And then I'm holding it onto the black paper so that it stays in place. And then you have your first strip. Alrighty, here's where I want you to pay close attention. You're going to do the same exact thing, except I started over. I had the pink strip showing. The pink strip went over. Next one, I'm starting under. So I'm going to start under my first black strip. Then I'm going over the next one. Then back under the third one. Over the fourth one. Under the fifth. Over the sixth. And then under the seventh. So see how we did the exact same thing, except we started on the opposite end. So we're eventually going to create a nice little checker look once all the strips are in place. So just like I glued these up top here, I'm going to do the same thing on the back here. I'm taking the end of the strip, putting a dot of glue on it, and then squeezing it on there. Same thing on the other end, dot of glue, squeezing it to the black paper so everything stays in place. You're going to keep going till the whole thing is finished, and then you got yourself a nice little Kente cloth, and eventually it should look something like this. You can choose to hang it up like they did. You can choose to create little patterns on your strips of paper that are going in between. You can choose to make some fringe at the end, which all that is when you take your scissors and you make little tiny cuts so that it kind of looks like that. All right, you can choose to make it your own with whatever colors you want, whatever patterns you want, and then you can choose to hang it up and display it however you would like to. All right, thank you so much for following along, and I'll see you guys next week.